Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Sport Breaks. Of course, I am your host, Dante Washington, back with you guys and gals for another episode. Of course, before we get started, make sure that you are subscribed to Sport Breaks on Spotify or wherever you're getting your podcasting from. Make sure you hit that download button so that once I drop an episode, you will be automatically notified when that download is available. Also, make sure that you are subscribed and following Sport Breaks on all social media platforms. Make sure that you like the content. Again, it is free. It is always free. It will always be free. Make sure that you hit that notification bell, particularly on YouTube, so that you'll be notified whenever I drop an audio or video, or rather I go live on there. But also make sure that you are supporting the channel, period, point blank, because like I said, I am live right now here on TikTok. So if you are up to date, up tuning, and just paying attention, you will be notified when I am online. Let's go. Of course, we have a whole lot going on. As the title says, we are in the midst of the NFL Championship weekend. AFC, NFC Championship games will be had. Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs will travel to Baltimore in the AFC. And Detroit will travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers in the NFC. But before we get to all that, like I said in the title, it is Championship Weekend Plus. So I'm giving you the plus first, and then I'll come back to the NFL Championships and what I feel, what I think, give you some stats, give you some statistics, and all of that jazz. But looking at the plus, of course, for you NHL fans, I like the NHL as well. So if you are following the NHL, you are very in tune with what's going on. But I'm going to give you the scoreboard real quick. On yesterday, the Stars took on the Red Wings and won that game 5-4. The Senators took on the Canadiens. The Canadiens couldn't handle what the Senators were dishing out. They lost 4-1. The Golden Knights beat the Islanders 3-2. The Lightning took on the Flyers and won that game 6-3. The Capitals took on the Wild and they lost 5-3. The Oilers were at home against the Blue Jackets where they won 4-1. The Ducks took on the Sabres and the Ducks won this game 4-2. The Blues took on the Flames in Calgary and St. Louis won this game 4-3. And lastly, the Rangers tangled with the Sharks, and the Sharks won this one in overtime 3-2. Looking at some action for today, few games coming up. We have the Jets and the Maple Leafs at 7. The Coyotes will take on the Panthers at 7 as well. The Hurricanes will take on the Bruins at 7:30. The Capitol will take on the Avalanche at 9:30. The Blackhawks will take on the Kraken at 10. The Sabres will take on the Kings at 10:30, and also the Blues will take on the Canucks at 10 o'clock. Looking next at the NBA Association, of course, we had a few games there, handful of games yesterday. Of course, the NBA trade deadline is looming near. That trade deadline will end at February the 8th. That will be Thursday, and I'm pretty sure it's like at 5 or so on the East Coast time. But a lot of things being discussed, a lot of people are being talked about, particularly the Los Angeles Lakers, very into mixing it up with their roster. But nonetheless, season goes on thus far, and yesterday, like I said, we had a few games. Particularly the Nuggets took on the Pacers. Of course, the Nuggets are one of the top teams in the Western Conference. I think they currently sit in the third place spot, if I am not mistaken, checking the standings right now. and they are in third place behind the Thunder and Timberwolves. But nonetheless, the Nuggets won this game 114 to 109. The Knicks took on the Nets, and the Knicks won this game by a score of 108 to 103. The Jazz took on the Pelicans, and this was a crazy high-scoring game, 124 to 153. The Pelicans won. My Trailblazers seem to can't catch a break. We lost to the Thunder 109 to 111. And I want to say these are games from the other day. Yeah, let me get an update right quick. Yeah, let's do this again. The Hornets took on the Pistons 113 to 106. The Pistons won against the Hornets. The Timberwolves won against the Wizards 118 to 107. My Trailblazers actually won a game. Yay! I've actually been to Portland a few years back. Got to see Damian Lillard play. We actually played the Suns that game. DeAndre Ayton was the only guy that was doing anything. They did not assemble the team that they had the last few years. But nonetheless, my Trailblazers won in overtime 137 to 131 against the Rockets in Houston. The Grizzlies, shorthanded as can be, found a way to win against the Heat 105 to 96. Of course, the Heat have acquired Terry Rozier. So we'll see how that trade pans out going forward. The Cavaliers lost to the Bucks 126 to 116. The Suns ran it up on the Mavericks 132 to 109. The Thunder beat the Spurs 140 to 114. And the Hawks, who has a lot of teams vying for the likes of Trae Young and DeJounte Murray, they lost to the Warriors 134 to 112. Looking at games for tonight, the 76ers will take on the Pacers at 7. The Jazz will take on the Wizards at 7. The Timberwolves will take on the Nets at 7:30. The Nuggets will take on the Knicks at 7:30 as well. The Celtics will take on the Heat at 7:30. The Celtics are, of course, one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now. They are currently in first place in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks will take on the Warriors in Golden State at 10 o'clock. The Bulls will take on the Lakers at 10:30. That is your NBA schedule for tonight. And shout out to DJ, man. I see you. Bang Bang Niners gang. Of course, I am a Packers fan, and fact of the matter is y'all won, period, point blank. Two of my good friends, they're both Niner fans, and they stayed humble as can be throughout the game, but at the end of the game, they gave me the business, that's for sure. So shout out to DJ, man. Bang Bang Niners game, man. My homie, he'll love that for sure. Looking at championship weekend, of course, just like DJ said, Bang Bang Niners game, the Niners are looking to be the team to be in the NFC. They will take on the Detroit Lions. I think this is a formidable opponent for the Niners. Of course, defensively, they are stout as can be. So that will definitely impose a lot of issues for Detroit and their offense. Of course, their offense goes as Jared Goff, Amaru St. Brown, and the crew goes. But David Montgomery, heck of a running back. Jahmyr Gibbs, heck of a rookie. So this game to me is one to be reckoned with. Looking at the Niners, first and foremost, they are again the number 1 seed in the NFC. Brock Purdy is one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Let's just face it. During their stretch when they lost 3 games, he was not who they needed him to be, but he showed resilience, played well, and you look at his stats on the season, 73.0 QBR, looking at 31 TDs on the season, 4,280 yards thus far. He is the future for San Francisco's offense. But you look right behind him, and there is none other than Mister. And when I say Mister, you got to give him respect. I'm from the South, so we give respect. Mister, Miss, all that good stuff. Mr. Christian McCaffrey is that guy. 1,459 yards rushing, 14 touchdowns, and that is just only in the rush game. He is definitely a great guy to catch the ball out of the backfield as well. So again, San Francisco is a very formidable opponent for Detroit, period. You look at Deebo Samuel, and my reports thus far, he did not practice as of yesterday. Of course, it is a shoulder injury, and he is, I don't want to say he's their number one guy. To me, Brandon Ayuk is that number one receiver for them. But with Deebo on the field, Deebo makes this offense that much more complicated. You do not want to try to pressure Brock Purdy because he's pinpoint accurate. You do not want to pressure their run game because, hey, Brandon Ayuk can beat you downfield. If you sit back, Christian McCaffrey is coming out the backfield. If you try to play man-to-man, it's a matchup nightmare because George Kittle will be down the middle or running the seams like crazy. So with that being said, you throw in their young cast of stars like such as Mr. Jennings. It's very dynamic what San Francisco can do. Looking at Brandon Ayuk for the conversation, again, he is their leading receiver this year, 1,342 yards, 7 TDs on 75 receptions. To me, I classify and I put him in rare air, and a lot of San Francisco 49er fans may say, man, you going crazy. No, I compare Brandon Ayuk to John Taylor ish. Jerry Rice is Jerry Rice. You can't compare him to anybody. But Brandon Ayuk is clearly a number one guy on a team that has him at number 2. That's just my take. And DJ, I see you. Yeah, he might not play with that shoulder, and that'll slow us down. I think it will slow y'all offense down. But y'all, San Francisco's offense to me is just not Deebo Samuel. It will limit the gadget plays that they have for him. But Brandon Ayuk is a matchup nightmare for any secondary. And you look at the Lions secondary, they are not up to par. Yes, they had 2 interceptions last game. But Brock Purdy does not make many mistakes. If you catch him, you're going to have to catch him. It's like, all right, hey, I see this unicorn. He does not throw it to the other team often. So if Brock Purdy is on, you got to like the chances of San Francisco, period. But there is a but to this situation. San Francisco is rated 4th in passing. They are 3rd in rushing, again, thanks to Christian McCaffrey. Points scored, they are 3rd at 28.9, and they're only giving up 17.5, which is also 3rd in the NFL. It is scary to go against this team. My Packers had them on the ropes, but that's the fact of being young. You don't know how to do it. This team is a solid team with the fact of they have a young quarterback, but they are old souls, so to speak. Fred Warner on the other side is just flat out phenomenal, and I think he will have his work cut out to have to match wits with Jared Goff and to try to handle Montgomery and the other running back from Detroit. So San Francisco is going to be all right. But looking at the Detroit Lions, and like I stated in the beginning, it is Jared Goff. Jared Goff, 4,575 yards passing this season, 30 touchdowns, only 60.8 QBR. But nonetheless, he has led two different teams to the NFC Championship game. And we had a debate about this while I was on my regular 9 to 5 earlier today. Matthew Stafford won a championship with almost the exact same team, but to me, Jared Goff is doing something that's different. You ultimately want to win a championship, but to lead two teams to NFC Championship game, it says that you are all right. Of course, like I said, David Montgomery, 1,000-yard back. He had 1,015 on the season on 219 carries. 13 touchdowns. They love to give it to him within the red zone, but do not discredit or discount or overlook Jahmyr Gibbs. He is between the tackles but run away from you threat. Again, that San Francisco defense, you look at Bosa, you look at Chase Young, you look at Armstead, you look at that front four. And again, Fred Warner and the other linebacker, I cannot think of his name, but they are going to have to stop Detroit's run game. Because once Jared Goff gets an established run, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a 1,515-yard receiver, 119 catches. He has 10 touchdowns. They are definitely have the ability to score quickly and often. Laporta has been one of the better tight ends in the league as a rookie. It seems like that's been going around this year for rookie tight ends. They are very exceptional this year, and Detroit has one of the young studs that is coming forward right now. Again, defensively, I'm real shaky about them. Despite the 2 interceptions that they had last week, that's Baker Mayfield. And I feel like the Buccaneers had 2 receivers that were, if you look at them side by side, they are on paper, on field, they should be the different caliber than what San Francisco has to offer. You look at Mike Evans and you look at Chris Godwin. I think, and please hit me in the comments when I say this because it gonna sound crazy, but I think if Mike Evans stays true, he stays okay and healthy, and he gets that type of play out of Baker Mayfield or even a better quarterback going forward, I really think he can put a challenge on Jerry Rice's receiving records. Seriously, go look up his stats right now. While you're on live with me, hit that heart button, but go look up his stats and you will understand why I said that. But back to what I was saying again, Detroit's secondary is not what they needed to be, and I will go ahead and say it. Brandon Ayuk, again, downfield threat. George Kittle is definitely a seam threat, and I can see George Kittle getting 8 catches in this game. And he can get in the end zone in various ways, and he does not like to go down. So to me, that is the contrasting styles and the issue with this game. A lot of people and naysayers and experts say that this game will be close. I don't think so. I think somebody's getting blowout. I don't know who. You're going to have to tune in and come back here on Saturday. I will do this again Saturday around, let's say 3 o'clock Saturday. I will go live and I will give my picks to who wins the game. I will give my my everything on who wins the game. Like, yeah, I will give my score. I will do that, everything. So, but again, Detroit's secondary is going to be an issue, and I like numbers, and I know you guys like them too. DJ, I know you like it. Detroit is second in passing, 258.9 yards per. They are fifth in rushing, 135.9 yards. They are fifth in scoring, 27.1 a game. But here's the kicker, DJ. You hear it? I want you to listen to this. 23.2 points given up by this Detroit team. They are 23rd in the league right now. Somebody is getting blown out. I do not know who. I will not disclose that information right now. I will hold on to it. But like I say, these two defenses are very contrast in style. One is both can handle the run, both can't handle the pass. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Now moving along from the NFC over to the AFC, of course, it is Kansas City. It is Mr. Patrick Mahomes against the presentable MVP should be of the league this year. Who do you take? Who do you like? I'm going to break that down a little bit for you. Before I do that, though, like I said, make sure that you are subscribing, downloading Sport Breaks, SportBreakz on Spotify, wherever you're getting your podcasting from. Make sure that you are following and liking Sport Breaks on all social media platforms. Make sure that you're following me here, definitely on TikTok. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. Make sure that you are subscribed and hitting that bell on YouTube so that you'll be notified whenever I drop anything. Back at it. The Baltimore Ravens. I think I'm gonna start with the Ravens. Of course, it is Lamar Jackson. He should be the NFL's MVP, but DJ probably would say it is McCaffrey. That's up for debate. Seriously, I'm gonna give you some stuff on that too. But Lamar Jackson, he is definitely a dual threat. He led this team, of course, in passing, 3,678 yards, 24 tutties, 64.9 QBR. It is kind of odd because he was throwing to so many different receivers. He lost his tight end, Mark Andrews, at one time. So that QBR is kind of misleading, but 3,678 yards, tossing that thing around. He also led his team in rushing, 821 yards, 5 touchdowns on that. Of course, last week he had 100 yards. He had 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Also had 2 touchdowns throwing the ball as well. Of course, rookie Zay Flowers leads this team in receptions with 77 for 858 yards. Only 5 touchdowns, but Zay Flowers is a guy for real. You look at this team and you definitely say, all right, if we can stop Lamar Jackson, it is what it is. I don't think so. They are a real live different team. You look at Gus Edwards, you look at their other back, they do so many different things. And their offense is definitely predicated on making you presume that they want to run the ball down your throat, which they do. But Lamar Jackson is willing and able right now to pass the ball, but do not get it twisted. When he pull that thing down, it is curtains. It'll be curtains if he get loose. So them against Kansas City, I like the matchup. I think this will definitely be a who has the ball last type of game. Baltimore's defense is very stiff, and it is almost a who's who on defense, but yet they are very, very efficient. 21st in passing, 213.8 yards a game. They are first in rushing despite not having the plethora of backs that everyone else has. Like I said, Gus Edwards and the other guy. And it's, again, they are pretty much no-name guys. But they're getting 156.5 yards a game. They're fourth in points for at 28.4. And here is the biggest kicker. They are only giving up 16.5 points a game. That is first in the NFL right now. They love to stop you. They don't give you points. And coming up to Baltimore, it is just rowdy as can be. And Lamar Jackson has heard all he can't do it in the playoffs. He's not that guy. He's 1-3 or whatever the case is. Lamar Jackson right now has the chance to stamp and solidify what is what with him as a quarterback, not some, hey, he should be a running back. But this team is loaded. Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar has made appearances and has made you look and think about what's really going on. Bateman has been a steady Eddie type of receiver, and Isaiah Likely is one of the best tight ends that no one is ready to even talk about. So with that being said, flip it over to that defensive side and just take a look at the game when they played the Texans. CJ Stroud should be the offensive rookie of the year, period. But he had looked mediocre this past game, and it was not even pretty. I look for Baltimore to get their scheme together to do almost the exact same thing, but in a different little tweak, because let's be real, how many of you are ready to bet against Patrick Mahomes? I'll wait. It's going to be hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes, but I assure you, this game to me could get ugly real quick. Flipping it over to Kansas City while we got them on the floor. Like I said, Kansas City is based on Patrick Mahomes. If Pacheco is being Pacheco, that we love to see him run hard and hold that head down and yeah. I like that Pacheco, and I call him Pikachu. No disrespect, it's just how his name look. I fun with myself. But of course, Travis Kelce. Probably everybody said, "Hey, Travis Kelce is done." No, he's not done. The guy's been the guy for a while. Even Superman go to work regularly. But you look at Patrick Mahomes, you look at Travis Kelce, you look at this receiving core, and it is and has a rookie in it as its number one receiver in Sidney Rice. It's crazy. To say that they had the year that they had, I don't think no one on here is willing to say, I saw this coming. They was going to be in the AFC Championship game. No, we didn't say that. We said, man, the way them boys playing, they can't catch a cold in a snowstorm in Alaska sitting on a polar bear toenail. Well, that's what everybody said. Like, all right, yeah. And then the fourth coldest game came around, and them boys put Miami to bed. Bye-bye. Going to Tahiti. I want to go to Hawaii. I really do. Go on to Hawaii, have your vacation. And now they're here. But this is a different animal. This is not Vic Fangio's defense that you are dealing with in Baltimore. This is a different animal. And I've never thought to bet against Patrick Mahomes, but it's hard not to in this game. And I mean, just me as a former coach, as a guy who I want to get back into coaching, at looking at this film and seeing what Kansas City likes to do, and I'm an offensive coordinator. I love Andy Reid. It is going to be tough. And I will just give a snippet of where I'm going with this for Saturday. Like I said, you got to tune back in Saturday at 3 o'clock here on TikTok to the L, to the live, to hear me say who I'm picking, why I'm picking them, and that's just the bottom line, period. Not because Stone Cold said so, because Peanut said so. But this is a matchup nightmare for them. Of course, Patrick Mahomes, down year, but breezy 4,183 yards, 27 touchdowns, 65.1 QBR. Oh, well, down year, whatever. Whoever think a 4,000 yard passer would be a down year. Of course, Isaac Pacheco. Isaiah. That's it. Isaiah Pacheco, 935 yards, 7 touchdowns, 205 touches, and he did not play the entire year, but nonetheless, he is close to 1,000-yard season. And again, I love this guy, man. I just love his ethic. I love his work ethic. I love his drive. I love the way he hits the holes. He just seems to have it. And Travis Kelce, of course, their leading receiver, despite having a down year, 984 yards, closing in on 1,000 for himself, 93 receptions, 5 touchdowns. But you look at their stats, and of course, I'm a stat guy. I love it. 246.4 yards passing. It is 6th, despite Marcus Valdez Scantling dropping passes, and everybody else who was dropping passes. Despite all that, they are 6th in the league passing the ball. 104.9 yards rushing. That is only 19th in the league. Again, that is based off of Edwards-Helaire being hurt, Pacheco being hurt partly, but nonetheless, still not dead last. They're 19th in the league. They are 21.8 with points for. That is 15th in the league. They are very timely with their scores, but Andy Reid is that type of coach to where, again, don't look at that number and say, hey, they can't put up 40. It can happen. But will it happen? And of course, the biggest stat of them all, points against, they are only giving up 17.3 points a game. That is number 2 behind the Baltimore Ravens. And I don't think nobody thought of that stat right there. They didn't even look at that or pay attention to it. But this defense in Kansas City, and particularly their secondary, is very stingy. But Chris Jones and the crew on that front four are very good. Again, I really think, and I'm going to give you a little piece of preview. Again, I really think this game will definitely come down to who is not turning the ball over, one, who is able to sustain drives, and of course, I really think it probably will come down to who has the ball last. That is just my opinion right now. I will give you the full, my full discretion, my full thoughts on a Saturday at 3 p.m. That is Eastern Standard Time. This Saturday, the game will be Sunday, of course. Really, really, really can't wait. Again, it is the AFC Championship game on Sunday. It pits the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to the Baltimore Ravens. That game will be at 3 p.m. The NFC Championship game will be against the Detroit Lions. They will take on, the San Francisco 49ers. That game will be at 6:30. It is for the right to go to the Super Bowl, period. Who has what it takes? Who doesn't? We will definitely find out this Sunday. Only 17 days away from the Super Bowl, people. It is coming up. Super Bowl, what is it? LVIII. Yeah. 55, 6, 7, 8. Super Bowl 58. It is coming up. Like I said, it is only 17 days away, people. So get your heads together. Get your minds around it. And definitely get prepared for it. All right. Again, make sure that you are subscribed to Sport Breaks on Spotify or wherever you're getting your podcasting from. Make sure that you are subscribed and following Sport Breaks on all social media platforms. That includes here on TikTok. Make sure you follow Coach Peanut 7. I am owner, creator, host of Sport Breaks. Period, point blank. Make sure that you hit me up on Facebook as well. Dante.P.Washington on there, but look me up, Dante Peanut Washington. Make sure that you like me on there. Hit me up on the Instagram, Sport Breaks. Find me on there. On YouTube, Sport Breaks. Search that. I think it's 3568, something like that. But anyway, everything will be on my page here on TikTok, Coach Peanut 7. That way you can just hit that thing and go up there and subscribe to wherever you need to go to. All right. Of course, as always, if it ain't Sport Breaks, it ain't shh. Knowledge world. Peace.